Hey everyone, today I'm going to be showing you a little tip that's really going to help out when using AI to remove unwanted elements in your photography. So I recently went to a classic car event and it was outdoors in a park. It was a very busy day because it was great weather and there were loads of people around. There were some fantastic subjects, all the cars were really photogenic and I got some great shots. However, there were loads of people surrounding the cars and you could see the other cars in the background because everything was quite close together. And what I really wanted to do is have those cars isolated as if they were the only subject there when I was taking the shot. So I used generative AI to do that. But I found that removing the background with generative AI meant that the edges of the vehicles sometimes weren't perfect. And I really wanted to get that really nice sharp edge of the vehicle but have the new background behind it. So today I'm going to show you how to do that in Photoshop, but first I'm going to show you some footage from the event and some of the shots that I got there. Okay, so we can take a look at this image of this red triumph. I've already done some edits in Lightroom to this, and I'm just going to bring it into Photoshop now by pressing Command and E on the keyboard. That would be Control and E if you're using a Windows PC. And as you can see, we've got some people in the background, we've got the back end of a van here, there's another vehicle on the right, and I want to remove those. So there are some tools in Photoshop already to remove the background. So if we just unlock this layer by double clicking on it, clicking OK, now in the properties palette we can come down and under quick actions we can click remove background. So that'll think about it for a little while, and you see there it removes what it thinks is the background. And it's not too bad considering it's done it all with AI, but as you can see it's not perfect by any means. We've got some trees left over here, it's all rough around the edges, it's deleted some of the back end of the car here, so that's obviously not going to work. So as good as AI is, we're going to need to go a little bit more manual with this image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask off the two areas where we've got the people in the van here and the car and the chair and things over on this side. So I'm going to use a lasso tool, so just the regular lasso tool, and I'm going to draw a rough area around those people. I'm going to cut into the car, that doesn't really matter for now. Get rid of those flags as well. That's one area, and then I'm going to press Shift on my keyboard and do the same over here. When I press Shift on the keyboard, that just allows me to add a second area and it will combine it with the first. So I'm going to come around the chair and the shadow on the floor, and I've got those two areas now. So we've got those areas selected, and now what we need to do is just cut into them and remove some parts of that selected area. So you can think of this a bit like a cookie, and when we press Option on the keyboard, or Alt if you're on a Windows PC, this is going to be like biting into the cookie and removing a piece of it. You can also do the opposite by pressing Shift on your keyboard and then drawing an area, and that will actually add a bit to the cookie, so you'll have a mutant cookie with an extra bit on the edge. But if we come back and look at the select area here, I'm going to press Option like I said, and then I'm just going to start outside of the area, just going to zoom in. And what I'm going to do is, with Option held down, I'm going to click and then start to draw into the selected area to cut a piece out of it. And I'm also going to change to the magnetic lasso tool by just clicking on the lasso tool up here in the left, dropping this contextual menu down and then clicking on magnetic lasso tool. And this will just stick to any edges. So I'm going to start here, click, I can let go of Option now, and then I'm going to start to come down this edge of the car, down here, and then come back out of my selection area, come back around to the beginning, and that will take a chunk out of my selection area. So I might just need to refine this. If I zoom in, you see there's a little bit here. I actually need to add here, so rather than subtracting, if you remember earlier, we're going to add to the cookie by pressing Shift and then come down here and then inside, and that's added to the area. Again here I'm going to add like so, and that's not too bad. And then we need to do the same at the other end. It doesn't really matter with these bits down here. We're only really interested in the bits that intersect with things that we want to remove, like the car and the person. So now that we've got those two areas selected off, we want to save this selection. So we come up to Select at the top, drop that down, come down to Save Selection, and we just need to give this a name, so I'm going to give it the name BG1 for background 1. Click OK, and we're going to come back to that selection, that saved selection later. So now we've got those two selection areas, we just need to get rid of the elements in the background that we don't want. So I'm going to come down here to Generative AI, click this button, click Generate. We don't need to type anything in, just click Generate, and hopefully it should work out what to fill into that area with a background that matches something that we've already got in the surrounding area. Okay, so we've got 3 options, that one, and that one. I don't think any of those are perfect. I would probably play around and get a better background, but just for now, for demonstration purposes, that's fine. Now if we zoom in down here, we'll notice that it's a little bit rough around the edges here. It's not done a bad job really, but if we hide that layer, we'll see that the headlight was a lot crisper in the original image. So what we're going to need to do, firstly we can increase the detail in this generated area, so we can come down here, click on this little icon in the top left, and that will increase the detail of that generated layer. But I think it's still not perfect down here. You see it goes a little bit blurry there, and it's just not a particularly crisp edge. And here it's even weirder, so we definitely need to sort that out. So what we're going to do, and this might seem counterintuitive, is we're going to select the clone stamp tool over here on the left, and we're actually going to paint over some of our car. So I'm going to create a new layer, and I've done that by pressing Command Shift and N on my keyboard. That'll be Control Shift and N on a Windows PC. I'm just going to press Option on my keyboard. Again, that's Alt on a Windows PC. Select about here, and then just start painting over the edge of the car, like so. It's going to look a bit weird to start with, but don't worry too much. As long as you're not painting too large of an area, we just need to come into the car a bit. Like so. And you just really want it to match the background, so you're going to be clicking Option or Alt near to the area that you want to paint over, and then just painting that into the car. Like so. I might just come down and do this bit here as well. Right, so now I need to come back to my original layer, down here, layer 0. I'm just going to hide these two for now. And I'm going to load the selection that I saved earlier. So I'm going to come up to Select, down to Load Selection, and drop down where it says Channel, and that's the one we saved earlier, BG1. So I'll click OK. And now all I want to do is invert this selection. So that means make it the opposite to what it is now. So I'm going to press Command, Shift and I on my keyboard. That'll be Control, Shift and I on a Windows PC. And now I'm going to press Command and J, again Control and J on a PC. And that's created a separate layer, but without that area that I don't want. So I just need to drag that to the top of the stack. And if I turn on the other two layers now, you see what that's done. So if I turn off the top layer, we've got that layer there where we painted over the car, but then because we've put the top layer back, that's brought our nice crisp clean edge back in. And you'll notice just down here there's a little bit of an edge that we just need to sort out, so we can just click up here at the top on layer, come to layer mask, reveal all, and just paint over that line, and you see it just blends it out nicely. Make my brush a little bit smaller. Just a little bit there as well. So if I just isolate that layer, you can see what that's doing. It's just blending that edge out there. And you can see the mask there. That's what I'm doing. I'm painting onto that with a black colour. And wherever it's black, it's masking out that area from that layer. So that's sorted out that side. I would do the same down here, and I would probably just get rid of my reflection in the headlights here, because that's not great. Obviously we can just use generative fill AI for that, so I just surround myself like that, click generative fill, generate, and it's as simple as that really. So if you're trying to remove backgrounds using Photoshop's generative AI and you want to keep those nice crisp edges on your subject, hopefully those tips have helped you out. Remember, AI is a bit of a Marmite subject for some people. Some people love it, others hate it. If you've watched any of my videos before on AI, you'll know my opinions already. I think it's fine as long as you're not trying to deceive anyone, if you're upfront about it. And also remember that photography itself is image creation through the capture of light. So generative AI is also image creation, but it's not photography. It's a different type of image creation. So with that said, massive thank you for watching. If you have liked the video or found it useful in any way, please just give me a thumbs up down below. I'd really appreciate that. If you're a regular and you've watched it this far through the video, it's probably going to be a long one, so I do appreciate it if you've made it this far, and a huge thank you to you for supporting the channel as always. If you're new and you'd like to subscribe and you haven't done so already, you can just click down there on the big red button, or over here on this picture of me, and that way you'll stay up to date with everything I'm doing each and every week. There's a new video every Sunday morning at 10 AM UK time. So I hope you'll join me next week for the next one, but until then, thanks a lot everyone, and bye for now.